Assalamualaikum. My name is Wanushahira binti Walukman from Section 2 UDE 200134. Today, I would like to give a brief about introduction and also background of WorldCom. So, as we all know, many companies go bankrupt even though their company operate very well. It is because the company did fraudulent in their financial position to make sure their company come out with more profitable. When company do fraudulent activities, it causes a big loss for investors of a company. For WorldCom, investors almost lost for 180 billion and 30,000 of workers lost their job due to this case. There are many companies doing fraudulent activities and bankruptcy later on. For example, Enron scandal, Tyco scandal, and other big companies in United States. It also can be classified as corporate fraud. What is meant by corporate fraud? Corporate fraud means illegal action that committed by company or individual and as an employee of the company. So here we can see that there are many reasons for a company to do unethical activities due to their greed, because they are surrounded by competitive companies. So we move to background of WorldCom. WorldCom is the second largest long-distance telecommunication company in United States. WorldCom was the biggest accounting scandal and bankruptcies company in 2002. At first, WorldCom is just a small company and grew into a bigger company that was led by Bernie Ebbers. So who is Bernie Ebbers? Bernie Ebbers is a CEO of WorldCom. He also a founder and an early investor since 1985. After going through the twists and turns of business, he decided to move to the data of communications and internet.
Assalamualaikum. I am Nabila and would like to present about the effect that company or person face from the fraud. There are two effects such as positive and negative effect. The first one is effect to the company. Firstly is Bernard John Ebbers, who is the CEO of WorldCom scandal. After convicted on 9 counts of securities fraud, he need to be sentenced to 25 years in prison from 2005 to receive his punishment. But because of his healthy problem, he has been released early in 2019. It means that he only received his punishment in 14 years old. After 1 month of release from prison, all of us know that he has been died from his healthy suffered. Second person is Scott Sullivan, who known as the CFO of WorldCom scandal. He is also one of the suspects who is involved in this fraudulent. After convicted his fault, he has been received a 5-year jail sentence after pleading guilty and testifying all the fault against Bernard. The next effect from this fraudulent was the company. This is the negative effect. After convicted from all the fraud, this telecom company has been collapsed and bankruptcy in 2002. It makes a lot of workers to lose their job due to this fraudulent. The collapse also caused losses to stockholders, including those who had invested through retirement plans. Moreover, there is also positive effect that happen in this company. The debtor in possession financing from Citigroup, or known as MCI, JP Morgan and GE Capital has paid all the debt to make sure the company would survive as a going concern when it emerged from bankruptcy in 2003. They have settled a lawsuit with creditor for $6 billion. Of that amount, around $5 billion went to the firm's bondholders, with the balance going to former shareholder. In a settlement with the Security and Exchange Commission, the newly formed MCI agreed to pay shareholder and bondholder $500 million in cash and $250 million in MCI shares. That's all from me. Thank you.
The first internal control that could have prevented the fraud is control environment. The control environment comprises the integrity and ethical values of the organization. Teach employees that the right thing matters, provide discipline and structure. The internal risk may be the unqualified accountants and auditors that can make irregular misstatements of accounting records and not be identified by the internal auditors. Management attitude towards the organization objectives are the approach in minimizing business risk. For example, WorkCom set unrealistic financial goals and aggressively forced their employees to achieve the objective. In such a way, it contributed the strategic apex sector in such a way as to lead the organization's middle line to ignore and commit fraudulent behavior, and was propagated down to the operating core in multiple occasions. In establishing a control environment, management should consider the potential for fraud in assessing ways to the achievement of an entity's objective, and be knowledgeable about the various ways that fraud can occur. As part of the process for identifying, analyzing fraud risk, management needs to form a basis for determining how such risks should be managed and establish control and monitoring activities formalized in policies and procedures. It helps ensure that management directives to mitigate fraud risk to the achievement of objectives are communicated and carried out. While no control activity can stop a person who is determined to commit a fraud from doing so, a strong control environment combined with an understanding of the incentives to commit fraud act as a form of preventive control against fraud by making the potential perpetrator assess the high risk of getting caught. Conversely, a weak control environment provides opportunity to those thinking of committing a fraudulent act because the risk of getting caught is low. Next component is control activities. Control activities provide segregation of duties, SOD, as basic component of internal control. Internal controls, including formal segregation of duties, help to deter fraud. When a single individual is in charge for all of the related tasks, the ability for errors and irregularity is raised. So the responsibilities are properly separated, fraud can be successfully prevented or detected. No person should have complete control over all aspects of a financial transaction. Ideally, no single individual should be able to authorize a transaction, account for the transaction, and have custody of the asset relating to the transaction. It will prevent and detect intentional and unintentional errors and also discourage sloppy performance of duties. When internal controls are off or overruled, which an opportunity is turned out and the risk for the fraud will expand greatly. Furthermore, WorkCom WorldCom set up its reserves for making payments for the line costs. However, the bills for these costs were not paid for even several months after recall has been incurred. According to the generally accounting accepted principle, the company needs to estimate the expected payment and match expense with the revenue. In other words, these fees must be expensed and may not be capitalized under GAAP. In the case of WorldCom, Scott Sullivan had instructed its employees to release accruals that were too high to make future payments. Several business units left with accruals for future cash payment that insufficient when the business is settled. In this manner, WorldCom understated its expenses and overstated its earnings, thereby defrauding investors. The last is monitoring. Monitoring is essential to ensure controls are operating efficiently. Monitoring involves the use of evaluation by management and third parties of the controls in place to identify issues and communicate these issues to the appropriate parties for the corrective action to be taken. Implementing a competent monitoring system can be incredibly cost-effective to the organization in resolving issues timely and efficiently. The company should have established a reporting system that enables employees, vendors, and customers to report any suspected fraud activities. In this case, when Cynthia Cooper, internal auditor of WorldCom, she discovered the fraud, she reported to the CFO, but there was no action taken until she reported the case to the audit committee. Many companies are now started to use this method by having hotline and some other ways for employees to directly report any suspected fraud that they discovered. For example, usually there are people inside the corporation had discovered those bad practice and trying to do something but ultimately fail. By this way, the fraud can be uncovered and solved earlier.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nur Hamiza. I will give a brief explanation about what happened to the WorldCom company in the present time. As all of us know, WorldCom was a telecommunication company that went bankrupt in 2002 following a massive accounting fraud. As a result of the scandal, former CEO Bernie Ebbers was sentenced to 25 years in prison and former CFO Scott Sullivan was sentenced to 5 years. And in 2004, WorldCom emerged from bankruptcy with the new name of MCI about 21 months after the company sought protection from creditors following a 11 billion accounting fraud. However, thousands of workers lost their job. And in January 2006, MCI was acquired by Verizon Communication and was later integrated into Verizon Business. The MCI acquisition provided Verizon with an international long-distance network and several large corporate customers. Along with the merger, a new corporate division, which is Verizon Business, was created to serve medium and large businesses and government customers. In 2012, Verizon Business became Verizon Enterprise Solution. Now, WorldCom's network assets are part of Verizon Enterprise Solution.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nur Farah Ifabti Shamsul Azhar. My metric number is UDE 2085. So today I'm going to talk about the conclusion of WorldCom scandal. So as we all know, the WorldCom company accounting scandal has erupted as the headline on every newspaper in United States in 2002 and become the most famous accounting fraud in the world. The conclusion on these incidents of such fraud is that the company misused, expended and transferred their assets, such as provision for questionable accounts to revenue. A number of major changes have been made to SOX, such as banning the board from being certificate, rising criminal penalties for fraud in share, and forcing the firm to change audit partners in every 5 years.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Amirah binti Abdul Razak from UDA 200082. Today I will present to you all about the final component, which is about the component of the internal control that play the most crucial part in the successfulness of the organization. The firstly about the control environment. In the control environment, there are 7 items in the control environment. Firstly, communication and enforcement of integrity and ethical values. This is about the individual or their people who are create, who are administer, who are monitor, who are control needs to have a good values of ethics and need to have a good integrity. The secondly is about the commitment to competence. This is the management need to specify the specific job, and need to hire people based on their knowledge and based on their skill. For example, if we want to hire the accountant, so we need to find the people who have background in accounting. The thirdly is about the participant by those charged with governance. This is especially for the people who are have responsible and who have a relationship with the corporate governance. There are a few things that affect the governance. The fourthly is about the philosophy, management philosophy and operating style. This is we need to know and we need to understand the management attitude, how she or he work serious or not, want to invest to the true people or trust people or not, and how he or she want to improve the things in the organization. The next is about the organizational structure, who we need to know the responsible of everything, like these people need to do those things and these people need to do this thing. Next is about the assignment of authority and responsibility. This is like a flow, so we need to do this to make sure do not have double job and description job. Lastly, about the human resources. Human resources policies, this is based on needed. If for example, if we got true people but he or she do not have enough skill, but so we need to take her to go to practice, to go to training. Lastly, I will pass the next components to Fatihah.
Assalamualaikum dan selamat sejahtera. My name is Nurul Fatihah binti Kennedy. My matric number is UDE 200110. I will continue present about the most important component in ensuring the success of organization. Control activity are actions set out through policies and procedure that help ensure that management instruction to reduce risks are achieved. There are 6 ways to control the activities. First is physical control. It is a way for us to take care of and protect our assets such as cash and inventory. So we need to take care of it properly, like keeping it in a safe place. Second is authorization. Transaction must be validated and approved to ensure that all transaction, that all the activities is in line with the purpose and objective of the department or institution. Third is personnel. It is a procedure implemented to ensure that all employees have the ability to match their responsibilities. Fourth is arithmetical and accounting control. The person in charge should ensure that all transactions have been authorized before sent for recording and processing process. After that, that person must check if they have left something and make sure that all transactions are recorded incorrectly. Fifth is management control. These are control implemented by management outside the daily routine of the system. For example, is management account, budget control, and special procedures. organizational control. Enterprise should have such an effective organizational plan, resolution of duties, and coordination of company's overall activity. Since is segregation control. Ideally, responsibilities and duty must be separate into a number of people so that no individual can record and process the transaction completely. So it can reduce the risk of manipulation or intentional mistake. And the last point is supervision control. Control by the official in charge of day-to-day transaction, and its reporting is an integral part of any control system. That's all from me. Thank you.